the specific terms and conditions of the service, including features, limitation, and support obligations. Then we have the legal rights and obligation of both parties, especially in case of disputes or breaches. Then provisions on how the service provider ensures confidentiality, security measures, handles and protects personal data in ensuring compliance with Data Protection Act 2019, intellectual property rights to clarify ownership of the intellectual property developed during the service, and service levels including uptime guarantees, response times, and remedies for compliance. Thank you.
Okay, Governor, where do you find all these? Maybe in an agreement?
Yeah, there's agreement, software as a service.
Where
Actually,
is it?
as recommended, it's attached as recommended by this committee. Chair, in the last audit. All that
was support. It there during the time of audit?
Let me have my officer answer that.
Chair,
and if it was there, why wasn't it provided?
Chair, it was there, and when we were doing these audit queries here, what was discovered is that it had some missing pages, and we were directed by the chair that we provide to the auditor the full document, because that was just a printing error, and we immediately provided that to the
auditor. When you reviewed it, what do you have to say about that? Were all these questions answered?
Thank you, Chair. We had the same reviewed by the system auditors who are also looking into the system, and a few issues had remained outstanding and verified. And this.
Which ones are they?
The legal basis upon which Nairobi Pay administers and controls the revenue system, the data protection provisions applicable to the service providers in compliance with the Data Protection Act 2019, the agreed service levels, uptime guarantees, response times, and remedies for non-compliance, ownership and intellectual property rights relating to the Nairobi Pay system, and contractual rights and obligations of each party in case of disputes or breaches. Thank you.
Governor, first of all, this where is that 4.1? I can't find it in the annexure.
The fourth last document.
Huh?
The fourth from last. Yeah. Document.
Where has it been cited? 4.1.
Where?
Senator Sifuna, where has it been cited?
In the response to this query, they have referred to a technical support framework. The contract that she's talking about, we should be able to see it.
It's here. Chair, maybe the clerk can show the senator. Appendix 4.1.
Because I can see 4A, 4B, 4C. I can't see 4.1.
I can see your chair. This is an agreement between in this 4.1, as Senator Sifuna is, this agreement is between ICT Ministry and Nairobi County.
You know, Governor, we have had these discussions every time you come to the Senate on who exactly owns this system. The agreement you have annexed here is between the Ministry of ICT and Nairobi County. So to address the questions that the auditor is raising, you send us to the specific clauses. And when I hear stories of pages missing, I'm usually very suspicious. Just if possible, because the specific clauses are listed there in the audit query. Which pages can we see this?
Chair, in page 3, you will see the purpose of the technical support framework. And then in page 4, you're going to get the scope, which addresses the issues of uptime and security issues. And that continues to page 5 and also page 6.
So who owns this system?
Governor, who owns Nairobi Pay?
This is software as a service. Now we've contracted. This was a technical support framework. It's a government system. That time it was ICTA. We have now further done our full contract beyond the technical support framework through the national government, through the ministry. So it is software as a service.
There's a separate contract.
Yes. But that was now not this financial year. This is now a contract that was tendered and procured.
So who owns it?
I don't know how else to describe that. Can you just explain the vendor? We can explain the vendor through ICTA.
You're unable to satisfy the auditor on the issues of the legal basis upon which Nairobi Pay administers and controls the revenue system. Do you control it?
For this financial year, the technical support framework was the basis on which we did it. I'm saying we've subsequently been able to contract and can provide that contract. The specifics should be provided by the receiver of revenue. But it is not a... And I remember when you came, I explained the history of Nairobi Pay. Chair, you remember, during the NMS time, a system was developed at the time that Querries was collecting revenue for Nairobi County through NMS. That was done by the former, administration. That system kept on being developed. That time, those officers were the ones who were at Manyani. They did Ardhi Sasa. It's the same team that created all these systems at that time. And so when you got in, many private sector vendors come and say, I want to collect revenue for you, I want to collect, but I was hesitant for us to move into a private sector vendor. So that time we said, look, can you give us, can you onboard the system that has been used, that has been created by government? The same way, there's a move by actually Senate to have one system for counties, which ideally would have become that system. And so to be able to have the technical support later is when we did this support framework with the ministry. We opted to have them give it a software as a service instead of handing over a system to the city. Yeah, because software as a service was recommended here by the chairman of this committee. And so we moved into that technical support framework, and now we've subsequently contracted that entity.
Governor, on page 6 of that agreement, it talks about finances. Unfortunately for us, we are discussing a contract that is essentially overtaken by another, right? Yes. So how much do we pay as Nairobians for this system? Because here it doesn't even say. It says a revenue share model. Is that still the case?
Yes, it should be, is it 4%, Chief Officer? 4.5%.
That's not a revenue share model. A revenue share model would say we take 30%, you take 70%.
No, we pay 4.5%. That is what we pay. For administration, for running the software, for updating it, for that as a system.
We pay to who?
Now we've contracted Konza.
How much are they?
Who? Konza Technopolis. So ICT authority, the Ministry of ICT said they are better to domicile it at Konza. The contract we have now is with Konza Technopolis, and that contract we can avail. So it's still an entity under the national government, but the 4.5% is what is paid to them to run the software as a service.
Chair, I have a lot of problems with this report, because the governor is saying there is no contract between the ministry or Nairobi Pay. But the reading of this technical support is that there is a contract between the Ministry of Information, ICT, and Nairobi City County. The issue on ownership has been answered in page 3 of 9, 1.3 purpose. It says the Nairobi Pay system is owned by the national government of Kenya and offered by Ministry of Course of Information and Technology and used by Nairobi City County Government in on-source revenue management. So the ownership is well captured, but my concern is looking at this, because the governor has not provided us with the contract he's talking about. Is this the same contract that, so who owns Nairobi Pay? Is it the national government?
You've just read it out, Senator. You've just answered it yourself.
Told us the
No, but you know, he has also he's saying there is a vendor who is outside the third party in his explanation.
No,
so I want him to be on record.
And his domicile in Konza.
Yes, his domicile in Konza. Number two, as what part do you pay for this service?
I've just said
4.5%.
4.5%, is it not higher?
It's too high.
That can be another question, but that is what we pay.
Can be another?
Auditor, you ask for the mic? Because then now we know who owns this and in what is still outstanding.
Yeah, I'm not finished finally.
Okay.
So that you summarize. Looking at the people who have signed here, I'm worried that there is somebody who is acting. And these are very, the last page.
The last page, maybe even before we go to the last page, yeah? Auditor, we know now who owns Nairobi Pay. Okay. So even the intellectual property rights, we know who owns the Nairobi Pay. Are you satisfied with that?
Thank you, Chair. We had an IT auditor on the ground on the same, the one who gave the status.
Confirm this.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's prudence that would have him a chance. The concern was also just the flow of how it came about, because the genesis of, yes, it is owned by the national government, but the genesis of how it came about and how it was moved from the national government, there was a concern of maybe meetings, deliberations on the same. Yeah, but he's still working on, the team is still working on it, and we'll give a report on the same. Thank
so,
you.
Governor, I think we need to work with the auditors so that, yes?
Just unless my memory is failing me, Governor, the first time this conversation happened, I think it was in this same committee in the first year. And I remember you telling us that this system is now fully hosted by us, that we can go and show me where the servers are. How did it go to Konza? Unless I don't understand how this thing works.
Yeah, that was what we wanted. We wanted to actually have it. We had servers. Because this staff of national government, remember there was an MS where you have staff of national government working at the county, working with the county. If you look at the background on page 2, talks about cabinet sitting of May 2018, where they approved the joint national and resource mapping using multi-agency approach. So we wanted them to fully hand it over to us, the national government. But when we did that analysis, and this committee actually recommended that it's actually better to get it as software as a service. It will, we don't have to think about many of the running costs of the system. And so that is why we agreed now to engage the national government, to contract them, for them to run it for us. So that if they need to upgrade the servers, if they need to change whatnot, they can do it. But that was the initial intention when we got into office. We said, please just leave it here with us, hand it over, let the county run it on its own. You recommended that software as a service is the best. I'm sure the clerk can remember. The chairman, is very good in ICT and systems-related issues. Yeah. And that's the recommendation we followed. On this financial year, we had a technical support framework. Now we have a full contract that we've contracted them we've procured and contracted the ministry through now Konza Techno Policy.
So I think...
So whatever further is required, and they're doing the audit, we've given the entire background, and this document has the entire history and how it has come to, If there's any additional document required, we'll give.
So I think cooperate with the auditors who are on the ground now, give all the information that is required, including the card, whatever they want, whatever they need.
By the way, Chair, for the information of the Auditor General, there was an entire inquiry by the Nairobi County Assembly into our revenue system, but the report disappeared somewhere. If you are able to find it, please give me a copy. Because somehow that report has never been tabled in the Assembly, and it doesn't make any sense for us.
Chair, I just wanted to point out as we exit, I know this is the last issue.
Yes.
I'm told that report disappeared between the Speaker's office and the tabling, but we'll get that report. Don't worry.
So before
Chair,
you
just-
ask, before you
just
ask
finally,
that,
yes.
before you ask that, Governor just cooperate with the auditors.
Yeah, as usual.
The ongoing audit, so that we are able to answer all the questions
They have full access.
involving the Nairobi
Chair,
Pay
it
system.
was on the
You will
agreement.
ask. You will ask. You will
Okay,
ask.
okay,
Yes,
okay.
you will ask.
And
that
also,
includes-
just to point out, you remember Parliament has been it has been unequivocal in the need for having these systems domiciled within government, because you have a lot of private sector vendors. I'm sure you look at other counties and the systems that they're operating. This is more solid as a government, system. But I think that is up to the different counties that you audit and the systems they're trying to use. This is not a private sector vendor. This is not a private individual. This is government to government, which is more secure. You remember there had been an attempt. Which was resisted at the Council of Governors to have one revenue system for counties. If that was to happen, it would be this system that has been developed by government. And the reason why, for us, it is very useful. Remember, I've told you the highest revenue earner for counties is land rates. If I go into the system today and put in an LR number, I'll get all the history. We have what we call APIs between the Ministry of Lands, between Survey of Kenya. That is information you will not get from a private vendor. If I put in your number plate because of parking, immediately it tells me this car is owned by Jones Maruma, this is his phone number, and I send you a message. You will not do that with a private vendor, as you should. So there is actually, it's prudent, and there's good synergy, when you use this system that require identification. Just by your name and your ID, I'll get your unique identifier. I can be able to get information for carry purposes or for our own purposes, on property, on vehicles, on identification. And that is a move that Treasury had been trying to do throughout the country. We're the only county that has actually now subscribed to this as a system within government. Because we see no value. I see less value with a private sector vendor who doesn't have the synergies, the data sets, the access to information that is domiciled within government. That was just for further information.